Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tiny English. My name is Mei, and I'm so happy to have you join us today for another lesson.
And I'm Gray. It's wonderful to see all of you here. We hope you are ready to learn some useful English with us.
Today, we are going to talk about a very important topic. It's something everyone experiences in their life. We're talking about pressure. Pressure is that feeling you get when you have a big test, an important job interview, or a difficult conversation.
That's right, May. It can make you feel worried, stressed, and nervous. But the good news is, there are ways to handle it. So our topic for today is how to stay calm under pressure. We will share some simple and effective tips that you can use in your daily life.
Exactly. It's all about learning how to manage those difficult moments. We believe this lesson will be very helpful for you. Are you ready to begin? Let's get started.
Before we dive into our main conversation, let's learn 5 important vocabulary words that we will use today. Learning these words will help you understand our conversation much better. May, would you like to start with the first word?
Of course, Gray. The first word is pressure. Pressure is the feeling of stress or worry because of things you need to do. For example, I feel a lot of pressure to finish this project on time. Can you think of a time you felt pressure, everyone?
A great example, May. The second word is calm. Calm is a feeling of being peaceful, quiet, and not worried. For instance, after a long walk on the beach, I felt very calm. Our goal today is to learn how to feel calm even when there is pressure.
That's the goal. Our third word is breathe. This is a simple but very important word. To breathe means to take air into your lungs and then let it out. For example, when you feel nervous, it helps to stop and breathe deeply.
Very true. The fourth word is overwhelmed. When you feel overwhelmed, you feel like you have too much to handle and you don't know where to start. An example sentence is, she felt overwhelmed with all the homework she had to do.
And our final word for today is technique. A technique is a special way or method of doing something. For example, he learned a new technique to solve the math problem more quickly. Today, we will discuss many techniques for staying calm. So, let's review our words: pressure, calm, breathe, overwhelmed, and technique.
All right, now that we know our key vocabulary, let's start our main conversation about how to stay calm under pressure. May, I have to admit, I felt a lot of pressure just last week.
Oh, really? What happened, Gray?
Well, I had to give a presentation at work in front of my boss and many colleagues. I worked hard on it, but right before I started speaking, my heart began to beat very fast. I was so nervous. I was afraid I would forget everything I wanted to say.
That sounds very stressful. I think many people can relate to that feeling. It's a classic example of being under pressure. So, what did you do in that moment? How did you manage to stay calm?
In that moment, I remembered a simple technique. I took a few seconds just for myself. I looked down, closed my eyes for just a moment, and I took one very deep breath. In through my nose and out through my mouth. It sounds very simple, but it helped a lot. It slowed my heart rate down a little bit.
That is a fantastic first tip: deep breathing. It's one of the most powerful and easy techniques to use. When we are under pressure, our breathing often becomes fast and shallow. That means we take small, quick breaths. This sends a signal to our brain that we are in danger, which makes us feel more stressed.
Exactly. But when you consciously decide to breathe slowly and deeply, you send a different signal to your brain. You are telling your brain, it's okay. We are in control. We are safe. It helps to interrupt the feeling of panic.
I completely agree. Let's explain it a bit more for our audience. A good breathing technique is the box breathing method. Imagine a box. You breathe in slowly for 4 seconds, like you are drawing one side of the box. Then you hold your breath for 4 seconds, drawing the next side. After that, you breathe out slowly for 4 seconds, drawing the third side. And finally, you wait for 4 seconds before breathing in again, completing the box.
That's a great way to visualize it. So 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds wait. Doing this a few times can make a huge difference. You can do it anywhere, anytime, and nobody even has to know you're doing it. Before an exam, in a traffic jam, or, like me, before a presentation.
So that's our first major technique, control your breathing. What happened next in your presentation, Grey? After you took that deep breath, did you feel better?
I did. I felt a little more calm. It gave me the clarity I needed to say my first sentence. And once I started speaking, it became easier. But it brings me to another point. Preparation is also key. The reason I could eventually relax a little was because I knew my topic very well. I had practiced my presentation many times.
That is such an important point. Preparation helps to build confidence. When you are prepared, you have less to worry about. If you have a test, studying hard is a way to reduce pressure. If you have an interview, researching the company and practicing your answers is crucial.
Right. The pressure often comes from the fear of the unknown. What if they ask me a question I don't know? Or what if I forget my lines? When you prepare, you reduce the number of unknowns. You have a plan. You've thought about possible problems and how to solve them.
It's like building a strong foundation for a house. If the foundation is strong, the house can stand even when the wind blows hard. Your preparation is your foundation. It doesn't mean you won't feel any pressure at all, but it means you are much better equipped to handle it.
I like that analogy. So our second technique is to be well prepared. It reduces anxiety and boosts your confidence. What about you, Mei? What do you do when you feel overwhelmed? For example, when you have a huge to-do list and you don't know where to start.
The feeling of being overwhelmed. I know it well. When that happens to me, I find that trying to do everything at once is the worst strategy. My brain just freezes. So my technique is to break the big task into smaller, manageable steps.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Let's say I have to clean my entire apartment, and it's a huge mess. The thought of cleaning the whole apartment is overwhelming. So I break it down. First, I will just wash the dishes. That's a small, clear task. I can do that in 15 minutes. When I finish, I feel a small sense of accomplishment.
And that feeling of accomplishment gives you motivation to continue.
Exactly. After the dishes, my next step might be to tidy up the living room table. Another small task. Then maybe I'll do a load of laundry. By breaking the big, scary task into small, easy steps, it feels much less stressful. You are not cleaning the whole apartment anymore. You are just washing the dishes. Anyone can wash some dishes.
That's a brilliant technique. It works for studying too. Instead of thinking, I have to study for my final exam, you can break it down. Today, I will study Chapter 1. Tomorrow, I will review the vocabulary from Chapter 1 and start Chapter 2. It makes the process seem much more achievable.
It really does. So that's our third technique. Break down large tasks into smaller steps. It helps you to stop feeling overwhelmed and start taking action. What do you think, everyone? Have you ever tried this technique? Let us know in the comments.
I have another one that is more about your mindset or the way you think. It's about positive self-talk.
Positive self-talk? What do you mean by that?
Well, when we are under pressure, it's easy to have negative thoughts. Thoughts like, I can't do this, I'm going to fail, or everyone is better than me. This kind of thinking only adds more pressure and stress.
That's very true. That inner voice can be very critical.
Exactly. Positive self-talk is about changing that inner voice. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," you try to tell yourself, "I can try my best." Instead of, "I'm going to fail," you say, "I have prepared for this and I will do a good job." It's about being your own cheerleader, not your own critic.
I love that. Be your own cheerleader. It's like having a kind friend in your head who encourages you. But what if you don't believe the positive thoughts? Sometimes it feels like you are just lying to yourself.
That's a fair question. It's not about lying. It's about being realistic but kind. You don't have to say, "This will be perfect." That's a lot of pressure too. Instead, you can say, "It's okay if I make a small mistake. I am human. I will just keep going." Or, "I've handled difficult situations before, and I can handle this one too." It's about focusing on your strengths and past successes, not just your fears.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about shifting your focus from the negative possibilities to the positive ones, or at least to a more neutral, capable mindset. "I will do my best" is a very powerful phrase. So, our fourth technique is to practice positive self-talk.
Yes. Now, Mei, what if you've tried all these things? You're breathing, you're prepared, you broke down your tasks, but you still feel completely overwhelmed. What's another option?
In that situation, sometimes the best thing to do is to take a break, a real break. Step away from the situation completely for a short time.
You mean just stop what you're doing?
Yes, if possible. If you are studying for hours and your brain feels full, stop studying for 15 or 30 minutes. Don't think about the subject at all. Go for a short walk, listen to some music, talk to a friend, or make a cup of tea. Doing something completely different can reset your mind.
I think that's very wise. Sometimes staring at a problem for too long makes it seem bigger than it is. When you step away and come back, you often see it with fresh eyes. You might find a solution you couldn't see before.
Precisely. The break allows your brain to relax. When you are relaxed, you are more creative and better at problem solving. This doesn't mean you should procrastinate, which means delaying your work for no good reason. It means taking a strategic rest to improve your performance when you return.
That's a great distinction, a strategic rest. So our fifth technique is to take a short break to clear your head. I also think physical activity is a great way to use that break. Even just a few minutes of stretching or walking can release tension from your body.
Absolutely. Our mind and body are connected. When your body is tense, your mind is tense. When you relax your body, it helps to relax your mind. This is why exercise is so often recommended for stress management. It doesn't have to be a long workout. Even just standing up and stretching your arms and neck can help.
We've covered some great internal techniques, things you can do by yourself. Breathing, positive self-talk, taking breaks. But what about external help?
You mean talking to other people?
Yes, I think sometimes we feel like we have to handle all the pressure by ourselves. We don't want to seem weak or incapable. But talking about your stress with someone you trust can be incredibly helpful.
I agree 100%. This is a very important technique that people often forget. Sharing your feelings with a friend, a family member, or a mentor can make you feel less alone. Sometimes just saying your worries out loud makes them seem smaller.
And the other person might offer a new perspective. They might say, "Oh, that happened to me too. Here's what I did." Or they might just listen, and that act of listening is powerful. It shows that they care, and it validates your feelings. It tells you that it's okay to feel this way.
That's so true. It's a reminder that you are part of a community. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders alone. So, our sixth technique is, don't be afraid to talk to someone and ask for support.
It's a sign of strength, not weakness, to ask for help when you need it. Let's do a quick recap of the techniques we've discussed so far.
Good idea. First, we talked about using deep breathing to calm your body and mind.
Second, we mentioned the importance of being well prepared to build confidence.
Third, we discussed breaking down large, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable steps.
Fourth was practicing positive self-talk to change your inner voice from a critic to a cheerleader.
Fifth, we suggested taking a short, strategic break to reset your mind and come back with fresh eyes.
And sixth, we just talked about the power of sharing your feelings and talking to someone you trust. These are all amazing tools.
They are. And I think it's important for our audience to know that you don't have to use all of them at once. You can choose the one or two that work best for you in a specific situation.
That's a great point. The goal is to build a toolbox of techniques. When you feel pressure, you can open your toolbox and pick the right tool for the job. Maybe today, deep breathing is what you need. Tomorrow, it might be breaking down a task.
And remember that staying calm under pressure is a skill. It's like learning a language or playing an instrument. The more you practice, the better you get at it. You won't be perfect the first time, and that's okay. The key is to be patient and kind to yourself as you learn.
I couldn't agree more, Mei. It's a journey. Every time you face a stressful situation and try to use one of these techniques, you are practicing. You're training your mind to respond to pressure in a healthier, more constructive way.
Well said, Gray. I think we have given our viewers a lot of practical and helpful advice today.
We certainly have. We've covered a lot of ground on how to stay calm under pressure. Let's do a very quick final review of our main techniques. Remember to use deep breathing, prepare well, break down your tasks, use positive self-talk, take strategic breaks, and talk to someone you trust.
Remember, everyone feels pressure. It's a normal part of life. The goal isn't to eliminate pressure completely, but to learn how to manage it so it doesn't control you. We hope these techniques will become useful tools in your personal toolbox for life.
Now we want to hear from you. What is your favorite technique for staying calm under pressure? Do you have another tip that we didn't mention? Please share your ideas and experiences in the comment section below. Your comment might help someone else in our community.
We love reading your comments and learning from you too. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe to Tiny English so you don't miss our future lessons.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a great time sharing these ideas with you. Keep practicing your English and keep practicing staying calm. You can do it.
Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next video. Bye.
Bye for now.